Yo, Father's Day's coming up. You don't know what to get him? I promise you, he won't be mad with these steak and potatoes. Check it out. We're gonna do this beautiful picanha steak, also known as the top cap sirloin. It's kind of known for that thick fat cap along the top. But also, look at that beautiful marbling. We're gonna be seasoning it up with that prime beef and chopped seasoning. It's a thick cut of meat, so go ahead and put it on liberally. Traditionally, you would take this cut of beef and you would cut it into steaks and skewer it, and cook that over an open fire. Today we're going to be reverse searing it as a whole roast and then slicing it up at the end. Now we can let this thing sit while we go get our fire ready. Now I don't have my heat plate on there, I've just lit my coals and I'm going to put them off to one side. I've got my meat stick in it to track the temperature and I'm going to put it on the side that the coals aren't on. We're going to smoke this till it hits about 115 internal. Now we're gonna make a potatoes au gratin with bacon and Gruyere cheese. Let's go ahead and slice our potatoes. Now you wanna get these pretty thin, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my mandolin. And make sure you're using it with the guard, because this thing will take off some fingers. We'll go ahead and put these in some water, just let them soak until we're ready to use them. With julienne 1 onion. Grate up this fresh Gruyere cheese. Now it's time to fry some bacon. I got some thick cut bacon and we want to cut this into some large dice. Pop this in your cast iron pan. You want to use something oven safe because we're going to be putting this whole thing into the oven. Fry that up till that bacon gets nice and crispy, then you want to remove it and set it on the side. Reserve it for later. Into that bacon fat, go ahead and add in them julienne onions and you want to cook them down till they get soft. You don't need to get it real brown, just soften them up because this thing's going to bake for over an hour. Now put down your first layer of potatoes and you want to make sure you're seasoning this as we go. We'll put some parsley flakes, some more seasoning, and we're going to put on our first layer of cheese. Top that with a few tablespoons of heavy cream and then we're going to start building our second layer. Repeat with the cream. You don't need as much as you think because there's a lot of moisture still in those potatoes. Go ahead and put the lid on and you want to cook this covered for about an hour at 350. Let's go check on our steak. She's doing fine. Go ahead and give her a flip and let her keep cooking. Let's go ahead and make a little chimichurri to go on top of the steak. I'm using parsley and cilantro. You could just use parsley. You could just use cilantro. I minced up 4 cloves of garlic. Add in some crushed red pepper flakes. Squeeze in the juice of 2 limes. Go ahead and just crush some of that garlic and that red pepper together. Now that's not mandatory. You could just mince your garlic up smaller to start off with. Go ahead and add in your chopped up cilantro and parsley. Season it up with some kosher salt and some cracked black pepper. Add in some red wine vinegar and then give that a little stir. Slowly drizzle in some olive oil until you get a nice emulsification. And there you go. Now you got a chimichurri. This is wonderful on all kind of grilled meat, so go ahead and save this recipe. Now our steak finally hit temperature. It's at 115 and we're going to put it directly over the coals to start charring up. Now once the crust is good and it's about 130, we're going to go ahead and take it off. I pull the top off the potatoes and then we're going to go ahead and add on the bacon. Top it with a little more parsley and then we're going to set the broiler on and go ahead and get this cheese nice and bubbling. Now a big roast like that, you want to give it at least 15 minutes to rest before you pull that probe out and slice into it. That'll let those juices kind of redistribute into the meat itself. And now we could take it and we want to slice it up. You want to make sure you're going across the grain. Now I know this is going to be hard, but you better not eat them potatoes right now. You better let that cool off for a minute. Plate it up with a scoop of them potatoes. Throw you a few strips of that steak on there, and then go ahead and top that steak with that chimichurri sauce. Man, I love that. Treat that dad good. Make him some of this. Check the link in the bio to get your set.